Alright, this is John Calmdo with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and in this episode I'm going to show you guys the all-new Calmdo Portable battery-operated world's first juicer. You can literally juice on an airplane or anywhere else. Fully self-contained and only 2 pounds, right? Totally amazing. I will go on the record right now and say actually I did buy this machine. Many of the machines that I test and review, I buy. Some of them I get actually sent at no cost from the manufacturer. That being said, I will let you guys know also that after I did buy the machine, probably about a month or two later, the manufacturer did contact me twice about this machine, asking me if I would make a video about it and be sponsored, and they'd send me a free machine. And so, I believe that they probably did this for many people that make YouTube videos, so there are many videos on the Calmdo, and if you watch them, most of which are favorable, because, hey, somebody sends you a free juice, you're going to make a good video about it. It's important for me, even if I get a free juicer or not, to show you guys actually the truth about the juicer, how it works, and I compare it side by side with other machines, sharing both the pros and the cons. This is super critical to me because I don't really care whose juicer is the best juicer. I just want to know for myself because I juice myself. I've been juicing now, for well over 25 years, like consistently on a regular basis. And even before that, when I was a young kid, my parents got me into juicing when I was a lot younger. But literally for the last 25 years, I've been juicing. And basically selling juicers at Discount Juicers since like 1988. So I've had my juicing business for over 20 years selling and supplying juicers to people I know. That I'm considered a juicing expert because I've tested more juicers than anybody that I'm aware of, especially showing you guys in all my videos. I have over 500 episodes on this channel, dedicated to sharing and contrasting and comparing all the different juicers so that you guys buy the right one for you. Because that's the most important thing. I don't care whose brand has the best one. And if this one works out to be really great, hey, I'd love to sell it too. But if it's not so good, I'm going to let you guys know my truth and honest opinions coming from a background where I've literally been testing juicers now for the last 20 years and trying many different ones myself. Okay, so I want to let you guys know about that. Okay, so the first thing is I want to let you guys know is that my current travel juicer is actually the Shine juicer. This is a unit, I think it's probably about 7.9 pounds, so like 8 pounds. I carry this in my carry-on, my travel bag, and I, juice with it in hotels. Now it's not like a full-size juicer like my home model. This is like a light duty, and I would consider this machine kind of like a toy in quotes compared to my home machines because this one has a short 10-minute duty cycle. It's not meant for like hard rigorous juicing. If you're going to juice fast, this is not the machine you want to get. But if you're going to want to juice like, one glass, 8 to 16, and maybe even 32, ounces a day, and that's it, this machine is going to work great for you, right? Other than that, you should really invest in a good high-quality juicer that will last and is quite durable. The Slow Star is a good beginner juicer that I recommend. Anyways, this is the juicer I take, but as you guys can see, it has a cord on it. So that means you must plug it into electricity. I've run this machine out of my car using a power inverter. For your car, I would suggest minimally a 300 watt, maintained inverter, a 500 watt peak, 300, maintained if you want to run this out of your car. And the other thing that's really cool is they now have these battery packs. So this is just a battery pack, and this is just a self-contained like lithium-ion battery that if you just open this up here, it has a little plug, and you could plug in the juicer, and actually you could work the juicer just like this. So now you got to take two things. And this will basically give you, not quite what you would have at home, but this would be sufficient for me to travel with. The challenge with this is that it's actually quite heavy. So this is like 9 pounds. This is probably another, like 5 pounds. Plus you have all the different containers and things to juice in this, but you'll be able to make more juice. For example, the containers that fit on this machine hold about 1 liter of juice. And on this machine, I think it's about 200 milliliters of juice. So that's 1/5 less. Also with this, you could juice for up to 10 minutes in one shot. And with this, I think you have like a really short few minute duty cycle. So, you know, every machine has their pros and cons. At this time, I would recommend this setup, something like this, if you do want to travel and juice. But maybe it'll get overthrown with the Calmdo. So let's go ahead and find out more about the Calmdo. So I want to say that the packaging on this unit, or first I want to mention the price. So when I bought it, I think it was around $70. I think currently it's hovering around $60. Price may change. And, you know, I want to say that the packaging on this is really nice. It's like high-end packaging. It makes noises when you take it apart. And, you know, for me, that would be like, wow, this is nice packaging. That must mean it's a really nice juicer. Inside here, you're going to get a few different items. Number one, you're going to get the whole self-contained juicer, which is really nice. This is basically the juice catch cup right here, the pulp catch cup right here, the juicing screen, and the auger on the inside. And then you have the motor inside here, and you have a little tiny feed chute, right? So I want to compare it like using this feed chute here with the feed chute on this. I mean, that's significantly bigger. That's at least, I don't know, 2-3 times bigger feed chute, so it's going to be a lot easier to juice in this guy. In addition, what's really nice though, you have a little travel sack that you could actually just dump this into and cinch and take with you. So man, I love the fact that this is the world's first portable juicer. You know, I'm not sure I'm going to say yes, buy it yet. But what I will say is that I want manufacturers, whether in Korea, South, you know, China, wherever you guys are, to start inventing machines like this that hopefully are even better than this, as you guys will learn, because this is not my first go around with this machine. I previously used my first model that I bought, and that was back in January, took it to a trip with me, and actually on my trip I broke it. And I had to actually just send it back for a refund, and that wasn't a good thing, and I know exactly why it broke. And so that's a really big caveat to me that, you know, I mean, in a few words, I would say save your money at this point. But the reason for making this video is to let manufacturers know, if you guys are watching, that, you know, this is an upcoming market segment that I believe has a place. You will sell units, but you must improve the product. In this episode, I will be showing you guys my tips on that as well. Okay, so that's really cool. I like the little bag here, maybe a hard case that wasn't too much bigger than this would be a little bit better than a bag. But, you know, you have like a little miniature cleaning brush that is kind of similar to cleaning brushes with the standard units. And then you have a little gasket bushing piece. And then you have a charging cable. So the charging cable is a USB charging cable, but it has like this unique plug. So I would include like a standard micro USB plug. So you can charge it with a micro USB instead of this special cable that if somebody loses this cable, they can't use the juicer anymore because they can't charge it. But if they had a micro USB cable, you know, they could. And then you got the little pusher here. Oh, and then also inside the box here, you got the little instruction manual packet. And they use a lot of extra paper for packing this. And then you have a lucky draw card, sign up for our email list. You have a warranty card, which basically this machine has a 1-year warranty due to manufacturer's defect, but not due to breakage. So it says, note, 1-year warranty is for items that have not been physically damaged. Please read full warranty at blah, blah, blah. So what is physical damage? If you put something that's not authorized in the machine, are they not going to cover that? That's going to be very interesting. Because if you take a look at the instruction manual here and you start actually reading through it, you know, some of the specifications I want to go over for you guys. This is the model PJ801. It's a 7.4 volt rated. Rated power is 25 watts. So, you know, to give you guys a reference point, this is 25 watts. A real juicer, you know, is like rated 200 watts. So that's like, what? 8 times more powerful. 8 times more powerful. Rated current 1 amp. And the power supply is lithium ion battery 18650, 2 pieces. And they're only using 1500 milliamp 18650 batteries. So I got some 18650 batteries, and you know, my first thing is they should put some better 18650. So these are some 18650s that kind of look like oversized AA batteries, and literally this is what powers this machine. I mean, technology has gotten so advanced, the power that they could store in these batteries. I mean, geez, these are the same kind of batteries that are in like electric cars and whatnot. But these batteries are not even high end, and they're like 2200 milliamps, and they are using 1500. So those are like the cheap. Man, if you guys are gonna use some batteries, like put the ones that have the most milliamp hours in there, in my personal opinion, you know. Let's see, in addition, Oh, the single maximum volume is 180 milliliters. So that's really not a lot of juice there. The other thing I will say is that I think you could create up to 5 glasses of 8 ounces of juice. So that's like 30 ounces before you must recharge the machine. And then if we read over the how to use, you know, I want to just highlight this one area that says prepare ingredients. Please cut different ingredients into thin and long pieces separately. For apples and pears, please peel them and remove the kernels. So a lot of the nutrients in the apples and the pears are in the skin or right under the skin. So to peel them and remove the kernels, you're basically just juicing super soft stuff. The instruction manual goes on to say, this product cannot be used for the ingredients with high hardness and more fiber like carrots and celery, etc. So that means this is a 100% juicer made for fruits. Whether you want to juice, you know, oranges, apples, pears, limes, you know, something without evidently skin and seeds, which is really limiting in my opinion, and almost to me this sounds like it's making like garbage, because in my opinion we should just be eating our fruits. Our fruits are so soft and delicious to eat. We shouldn't really be juicing them. If you did want to, you know, process them, I would actually recommend like vacuum blending them instead of just juicing them, because you are losing the fiber when you're juicing the fruits, which may increase the absorption of the sugar into your bloodstream, the natural sugar that's occurring in the fruits. That being said, you know, once again, fruit juice still better than drinking a soda or something like that, because there's also the benefits of the vitamins, minerals, and the phytochemicals that are in your fruit juice. So wow, man, really? They're telling me I can't use carrots and celery and beets and ginger and, you know, all the other kind of amazing leafy green vegetables that are so good for us? Like, this machine is only made for fruit, and for, you know, for that reason, I'm already have to give it a thumbs down. That being said, I didn't read the instruction manual like most guys the first time I used this, and knowing what I know about juicers, I took this on my trip. Oh yeah, I'm going to juice carrots, I'm going to juice ginger, I'm going to juice everything on my trip. So actually, I made ginger shots in this every day, and it works successfully, and I do not recommend that because I know the technique to cut ginger properly so that it does work and to slow down. I think a few times it was really hard to take apart, but it did work. That being said, you're going to break the machine basically if you're juicing ginger. And then on my trip I bought baby carrots. I'm like thinking, okay, this should be able to juice baby carrots with a little, you know, little toy motor in there, and I put baby carrots in there, and they actually broke the gears inside the unit. And this is a replacement unit I got sent, and I'm going to try to be nicer to this one so that I don't break it, because it is kind of cool that it's the world's first like portable self-contained juicer. You know, I do hope they improve this product in the future, make, you know, put more batteries in there, make this, you know, the standard like micro USB charging. And also the other thing I think is kind of lame is that this should be like locking, like this just kind of comes loose. So this should be kind of like self-locking. And also the other thing I try to do is I try to like, you know, have this like nesting. So when you know, put this over this piece, it would like take up even less space in your bag, because this is a little bit long and there's a lot of empty airspace that could be condensed a little bit further if they thought about it a little better. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Oh yeah, and then you don't want to like lose this little piece, because actually in my first juicer I lost this piece actually. So I'm glad they give you a spare. All right, now I want to show you guys the different parts of the Calmdo juicer, and we're going to compare it to the Shine juicer for reference. So inside this whole unit, this big container is actually the juice catch container that'll actually fill up probably to this point until it actually starts impacting the screen, which means it'll hold about 200 milliliters of juice, which is what it's rated, and that's this. So it looks big, but it doesn't catch as much because this is really sitting inside, taking some mass. This small container in here is where the pulp funnels down into, and I do like that this is a straight run, so you basically put the produce in here, it runs through the auger and comes straight out instead of taking a right angle turn in most vertical slow juicers. You could go ahead and turn this, and this cup comes off. That's going to catch the pulp. And then you could take this off, and now you have the auger and juicing screen. So this juicing screen like looks pretty cool, because it's like, man, it's got all that screen area. It's really nice. And then you have a little, like, I would consider this a toy auger. This thing is light. Now they do say this is BPA free. To compare, let's take off the feed sheet on this. Once again, I showed you guys a comparison on the size there. This is at least 2.5, 3 times bigger on that. And then if we take out the auger in this guy, this auger is significantly heavier than this auger, so I don't even know if they're using like the Ultra material on this, you know, because it's pretty light duty. Also, this has a metal contact point, and this basically has a plastic contact point, and on the bottom it goes into a metal contact point. So to me, that is a weak spot. Should be metal in my personal opinion. Next, we're going to compare the juicing screen. So this juicing screen, you know, has screen area all around, and then it has like a nice big hole in the bottom to let the juice through. And this screen looks very similar, but looks can be quite deceiving. Right? I've gone out with people before, and looks are quite deceiving. So while this may look like there's lots of screen area, the silly thing they've done, and I can't exactly figure out the reason for this, maybe to slow you down juicing, is although there's lots of screen area, they filled it in with plastic. So let's see, 2 of these are basically filled in with plastic, so it looks like a screen, but they basically filled it in with plastic, so that means you don't really juice in that area. These 2 are open, these 2 are closed, these 2 are open, these 2 are open. So let's see, you have 1, 2, 3. 3 areas are open, and you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. 3 areas are closed. And that's on the both the top and the bottom segments. So that means literally, although this looks like a lot of screen area, you have literally half the screen area, and the screen holes are where the juice comes out. So that's actually quite interesting. So that means you're going to get probably a lesser yield than having more screen holes, although it also makes it a little easier to clean. Whereas on this, you have a solid screen holes, nothing is filled in with plastic. On the bottom here, you basically have a silicone flap, and that's not unlike, you know, larger versions of this machine. You do have a nice pulp outlet hole here that has this flap that keeps a little bit of back pressure on the produce inside the juicer to allow it to get juiced. And on this machine here, you have, you know, this little flap here that you can remove after every use. This machine is actually screwed in and fixed. I do not recommend unscrewing this and removing it after every use. You're going to strip out the plastic that the screws go into. But you should try to get underneath here and clean it out. You could easily kind of flip this back to clean it, okay? The other part that actually I lost is, I'll show with you guys where it is. You get a spare, and it's this little like rubber grommet thing. And it goes on the bottom of this shaft in the screen, which is actually metal. So that's the metal on metal contact that this goes down into the bottom into and rotates against, all right? Let's go ahead and get these guys assembled for you. So assembly on the Shine, super easy. Just put that guy in. You're gonna drop the screen right in place, just like so. Oops, just like so. We're gonna drop the auger in, and then you have to basically line this top up to put it in to lock it in place. And if it's assembled correctly, it will start. On the Calmdo, basically I'm holding the unit upside down, and how I'm going to assemble it is I'm going to take the auger and put this into the little shaft here, which, you know, there is a little bit of play on that. And once again, this is metal, but this is plastic. And the part that actually broke on me previously was inside this, there's some kind of gearbox or motor that connects it to this little spindle here, and I broke that because there was too much torque and stress on this unit. And I do not recommend trying to turn this when it's off because you may stress the motor. Now next you got to put the juicing screen. There's these like little tabs on the screen that then go into the body that basically drop in, and then you basically turn it. And then it locks down, so I'm turning it to my right. And then it's basically solid. And then the pulp catch cup goes onto the bottom of the juicing screen, and it basically goes into the recess, and then you basically turn it and it locks into place as well, and this piece simply just sits inside there. So super simple, super easy. To turn it on, you have a little button here, and this kind of got me the first time I charged it. It will take about 4 hours to fully charge. Might be a little bit less if you have a more powerful, you know, amperage 5-volt charger. But basically to turn it on, you don't just press this button once, right? That nothing happens. Like, it doesn't work. You got to press it. You got to double punch. And this is how the machine sounds, like a nice high pitch, kind of like maybe, well, it has to be a DC motor. And press it once to stop. Runs at 40 RPMs, which is how fast this guy runs as well. So yeah, with a smaller feed chute, definitely going to take more time juicing. Not going to juice fast. It's going to take you a while, but at least you'll be able to juice literally at the beach or wherever you want to be. Alright, so the two things I thought I'd juice for you guys today is number one, oranges, because it says you could juice basically any kind of fruit without the fiber. So, you know, fruits that can be juiced, of course, oranges, apples, can't juice bananas, they're not going to juice, you know. Tomatoes, cucumbers, those are fruits, so those should work fine. But it says you cannot juice fibrous things such as carrots, which I did break one of these guys on. I juiced ginger successfully, but I do not recommend that because it was hard on the machine and I know what I'm doing. And I didn't break it on ginger. And then I'm going to try to do celery because celery juice is all the rage. And if you guys use celery in the Calmdo, it will void your warranty, but I like to see if it'll work. And of course, I'm a guy, I don't read instructions when I bought it originally. They had updated the listing online when I bought the machine. It didn't say that you couldn't juice, like, clearly vegetables. You know, but since then they have actually updated the listing and they have a clear picture that, you know, this machine is not for juicing vegetables. It's for juicing only the fruit, which I'm glad they updated that. But to me, you know, it seems like this has a very limited use for just juicing fruits because, you know, fruits are just so easy to peel and eat. And I mean, our best juicers are given free and clear. They are our teeth. We don't need a machine like this. You know, want to juice an orange, stick it in your mouth, chew it up, suck the juice out, and spit out the pulp, and you'll save your guys' selves $70. A little bit harder to do that on vegetables, so that's why I like juicing my vegetables. Anyways, we are going to juice oranges. To juice oranges, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut off only the orange coloring, but we are going to leave off on all the white pith as much as possible. This, you know, keeps as much of the vitamins and minerals and more importantly bioflavonoids in the fruit, you know, that give the fruit more antioxidants, which are very important. You know, because of the small feed chute, we are really gonna have to just slice this up into like super tiny pieces, which is kind of crazy because I mean I normally slice stuff up, but man, we're gonna have to cut this into super small pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up in advance so I have this all ready to go, and we're gonna come back at you when I'm ready to juice. We got all our oranges cut up in little bits that should drop into the machine quite easily. Before we start juicing in the Calmdo, I do want to mention that, you know, when Calmdo did contact me to, you know, get a sponsored video and for me to make a video, offered me to give me a free machine, I did respond back to them and they did not reply. You know, they wrote me again and I wrote back to them the same questions. I was asking them questions about their juicer and whatnot. And again, they did not reply. So to me, that's already 2 strikes against you if you don't reply to my emails, and especially if you're contacting me, you know, unsolicited to make a video about your product. You know, that being said, as I said, I did buy this machine on my own with my own hard-earned cash because I think it's a cool idea, and I want other companies to improve on this, make it better, make it good for juicing, you know, vegetables, make it as good, almost as good as a standalone plug-in model, which is possible these days. I mean, come on, they got iPhone 11s now that you could put in your hand that do all kinds of stuff, and you guys can't make a good juicer with some batteries. Like, so I'm glad that Calmdo took the initiative to come out with the first battery-operated unit, although, you know, let's see how it does sell in a little bit. So anyways, let's go ahead and double pump, turn this machine on, and drop in 1 piece of orange at a time. And, you know, if you do it right, you don't have to use the pusher because this is basically going to self-feed like you guys are seeing. And you know, this gives it the easiest time on the juicer so that you could actually run longer. It's not going to degrade the battery as much. You're going to put each piece in there and let it run just a little bit. And as you guys can see, we are definitely getting orange juice, and this is actually quite working well. I mean, most people on videos are taking it and shoving in oranges and whatnot. That's not a good thing. It's going to wear out the juicer, especially ones that are not as powerful. Like this guy. In addition, I saw one of the guys that they sent a juicer to, they was trying to juice celery, and I'm like, man, that's not going to end well because he definitely wasn't cutting the celery properly either. Alright, so we're going to juice. I'm going to just juice the oranges in real time for you guys and give you guys my play-by-play. We're filling up the pulp catch container here, and the juice is kind of running out of the screen. Once again, the juice is only running out half the screen because the other half of the screen is literally filled in with plastic, which I think You know, maybe there's some kind of design reason, but I just think that's silly, you know, to waste extra plastic when you could have more screen holes, you know, to be juicing. Now, I will not juice past the area of the juicer where the pulp container moves up to, because of the fact that if I do, the juice may impact in the screen and then overflow back into the pulp catch container. And actually, we're getting quite close here to that point. Let's see, I had 3 oranges to juice. I've probably juiced just about 2 of them thus far. And I think that's the last one I'm going to put in. And let's go ahead and look down the chute. So yeah, and the cool thing about this machine is that I could pick this up and show you guys how close it is. And so now we're just going to hit this once. It's going to go ahead and turn off. And if we pull this out, you can see we have literally all that orange pulp that was put into the center chamber, and this outer chamber here, a little bit drippy, has a collection cup with the juice. I think these glasses are 12-ounce glasses, so that basically allowed me to juice 6 ounces, or maybe 5 or 6 ounces in one sitting. This pulp catch container, you know, I'd say I wouldn't want to really go more than what it is. And we're just going to empty this out over on this side. And we're just going to go ahead and, you know, fit this back on. Lock it in place. Drop this back in. And we are going to double pump the switch. And drop in more of the oranges here, one piece at a time. Alright, so far so good. You know, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this pulp and squeeze it. So if we squeeze it, I'm squeezing just pulp. I'm not really squeezing out any juice out of it, which is quite good. I mean, if I used a press to press this, I would get more juice. But actually, for juicing the oranges here, it's actually, you know, it's fairly efficient. It's as efficient as other, you know, larger, you know, vertical auto juicers such as this would be. So if you just want to juice oranges, you know, and have the most nutritious orange juice, this would be definitely a good option for you for juicing only fruits. I do not recommend this for vegetables, although I have done that myself. That will break the juicer and void the warranty, because this is definitely, I mean, this sounds like, I think some of the RC cars I had as a kid had a more powerful motor than this guy in here. Alright, so let's go ahead and we got a few more pieces of the oranges to juice in there. And we're almost getting this, once again, up to capacity. Alright, last few pieces in here. You can hear, as I put some produce in, you can hear the motor kind of like tone level go down, and that's because it's stressing the motor out as it's juicing a little bit, alright? So let's see here. So, the other thing I want to let you guys know is that this has an auto reverse feature. So most standard juicers have a manual reverse, that if it blocks up, you have to hit this stop, and if they manually reverse it, this will automatically unjam for you. And if it's doing that for you a lot, that means you're probably adding things in that are cut too thick and or are too fibrous, all right? So we almost filled another container up. So this is basically 2 containers now. So the battery should last another 3 containers until the battery runs out. And then you can see, you know, this gets a bit messy because it's dripping everywhere, but we can pour our juice out. And we still have not quite a full cup of juice there from the 3 oranges. Once again, we can pull this out, and the pulp. Once again, it's you know, pretty much the same level of wetness, maybe a little bit more wet than the first time through. And then if I take this guy apart, you can see the pulp coming out the bottom. Take this guy apart. Let's see what's left in the machine when we're done. And let's see. You gotta to disassemble. You gotta. Wow, this thing's kind of stuck here. You gotta dry my hand off here and kind of hold and turn it as you're pushing in. All right, and there we go. So you can see, you know, one of the pieces of orange that I put in last didn't get juiced, and the other oranges are basically turned into mush and just mushed up against this auger and the screen. I think what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and wash this up real quick, and we're going to come back at you, and we're going to see if I can juice celery successfully. Alright, so we're all cleaned and set up. The cleaning wasn't too hard. That main little gasket that I showed you guys earlier, that little O-ring bushing thing, like that fell out as I was cleaning it. So if you're not paying attention, you will lose that. And I don't know even if you can buy those separately, although you do get one spare. Cleaning wasn't too difficult except for this little area that is non-removable, this little flap. There was like pulp stuck underneath the flap, and I don't even know if I got it all anyways, but I got most of it out of there. So that was a bit hard. So this should have a better solution for this. Instead of just being screwed in, maybe like one side should be fixed and one side should be loose. So you could kind of open and close it or something, but that's just what I think. Next, we're going to juice celery. So this is not recommended. Do not do this in the Calmdo. You will void your warranty. But you know, for me, like a juicer, if it's only a fruit juicer, is pretty much a waste of money. Like we should just be using our teeth, our God-given juicers, or nature-giving juicers, whoever you believe in, to juice. That being said, I think really for the vegetables, it's really important to juice it because, you know, most people do not chew their food. It's literally fibrous. And to extract the nutrients out of the vegetables, especially the leafy green vegetables, which are the most important food on the planet to get into us because most people do not eat enough of them. The juices allow you to concentrate the nutrition in the leafy green vegetables. For example, one basically pound of greens equals 1 cup of juice. And to juice 1 pound of greens through this small feed chute, I ain't doing it. That's going to be a pain that you know what, all right? But I will be juicing the celery. And to do this, you need a very special technique or you will break the juicer, you know, putting these long celery, you know, stalks in the machine with these long strings. Let me show you guys these strings if I pull one out. Look at that. That's a celery string right here. Nice and taut. You can almost floss your teeth with it. You can make music with it. But yeah, these strings will basically clog and jam the juicer, so you cannot put these in. So if you do want to juice in this machine, which I do not recommend, this is for experimental purposes only. I don't know what's going to happen. And once again, I did break this juicer when I juiced carrots in it. It was non-repairable. I had to send it back in for a refund. You know, we're going to basically cut this into 1/8-inch pieces. Like really, we're cutting it into little thin slices. So, you know, I mean, I got better things to do with my time when I go on vacation because that's when I'd be taking this with me. So, you know, that being said, all vertical juicers, you do need to pre-cut the celery, you know, or it will jam up after some period of time, in my opinion, and based on my experience, actually. So we're just cutting this up into small pieces, taking our time doing that. We're probably just going to cut like maybe half of this stuff up. I'm probably not going to cut all of it. We're just going to try to maybe make like 2 like containers full of the celery juice. I don't know, maybe we'll juice all of it. We'll see what happens. Alright, so now that we got all our literally diced celery up, or sliced celery, double pump the machine, and we're just going to put in like little handfuls at a time. I think one of the cool things that would be good to use with this machine would be like a little funnel. As you guys can see, oh, it stopped. We overloaded the machine, so it reversed automatically, and now it's going to go back forward again, or it's not, or it just stops. We'll double pump to start it. So that means if that happens, that means you are putting things in too quickly. So now we gotta like drop in like 2 pieces at a time, let that work, drop another piece in, let that work, drop another piece in. And this will take patience. Once again, this machine is not designed to juice celery, but I wanna see how it does, because if I am gonna use this machine, it will likely be for something like celery. So literally I'm putting 2 to 3 pieces in at a time. We're letting the machine give the machine time to work. And once again, we did pre-cut it. If you're feeding things in and it starts to stop and reverse, that means you're feeding things in too quickly, and then that should be a sign to you to back off and you know, do it differently. That being said, this machine, because of the fact that, you know, it only has half the juicing screen, is probably leaving the pulp wetter than desired, in my personal opinion. So I think to save you guys some time, because this looks like it's working right now. Oh, stopped again. Got 2 rambunctious juicing too quickly. And then once it reverses, it turns itself off. Double pump, turn it back on, and put these guys in like literally 2 pieces at a time. Count to 1, 2, 3, 2 pieces at a time. Count to 1, 2, 3, 2 pieces at a time. Count to 1, 2, 3, 2 pieces at a time. 1, 2, 3. I mean, on standard vertical juicers like the Shine, I could literally just dump all these in and like let the machine juice and work through it without kind of having to baby the juicer. But this is what you get when you get a 25-watt juicer, not designed for fibrous vegetables, and that's why they say you shouldn't juice it. We cut up the fibers to make it a lot easier. I mean, maybe if you shred up your carrots, you could probably juice it in this machine, but then it's like so much extra work, and it'd just be worth it to get the right juicer in the first place. Not trying to save money, not trying to be cheap. Because I mean, I don't even know if this machine's gonna last. There's lots of plastic linkages that I'm not a big fan of. Anyways, let's go ahead. I'm gonna juice this and just fast forward this for you guys to show you guys actually what happened and show you guys me juicing all this successfully or not. Alright, so I just got basically filled up to the maximum point that I would not juice past, and we're just going to go ahead and turn this machine off, and we're going to see how it did. Once again, let this drain out here a little bit. Maybe hold this over here and pour this juice out. Wow, man, that took a lot of time for a little bit of celery juice. And let's go ahead and pop out this end cap here and take a look. And if we take this pulp and squeeze it, oh my God, we're just raining celery juice. This is so inefficient on the celery. It is silly. This has to be the most inefficient vertical juicer I've ever tested in my life for juicing celery. We wasted so much juice in this pulp. It's totally insane. That being said, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'm going to go ahead and juice the other half of this in this machine just to see if I could do it. Once again, I'm cutting this super thin, super tiny, like 1/8 pieces. I mean, 1/4 inch is going to be too thick, and it's going to cause that machine to stop. When I was basically juicing the celery, you know, I was feeding it a little bit too quickly. Maybe some of my pieces were a little bit too big, and it would cause it to stop and auto reverse, which is a pain. So, you know, unless you have lots of patience and a lot of time, and literally you live in the middle of a desert island without any electricity or any solar panels, like, I really don't recommend this machine, man, at all. Like, get a Shine with the battery pack. It'd be a much better option, like real option for real juicing. This to me is like a toy. It's like a golf cart versus like having like a real car to like drive around town. All right, let's test my patience and see if we can juice the rest of the celery in the Calmdo Portable Juicer. Alright, man, I almost fell asleep getting so bored. This is trying my patience for sure. We got another container full. Once again, we're going to lift that out. Hold that over so we don't get a lot of drips and pour this guy in there. And I mean, basically we got 1 glass. This was really a pain in the you-know-what to do. I do not recommend that anybody does this to make 1 glass of celery. It's far too much work. Yeah, I mean, like my grandfather taught me, like, use the right tool for the right job. This is not the right tool for the celery, like you guys just saw. I mean, maybe for the oranges, but that being said, I would just rather eat the oranges myself. You know, so I want to give you guys my summary on the Calmdo, if I would recommend for you guys to buy it or not. So I'm going to say steer clear. Basically, you know, if you want a travel juicer, I would recommend the Shine with the battery pack or using an inverter so you can power it in your car. That's definitely the way to go. That being said, you know, this did work on fruit. So if you only want to juice fruit and in small quantities and take a little bit of time to do it, yeah, I mean, it works reasonably well. Do not buy this for juicing vegetables, although I did juice a nice glass of celery, and I do like that this is a, you know, slow 40 RPM juicer that made nice. Look at this vibrant color, man. But most slow juicers will make this nice vibrant color without the oxidative damage that a high-speed juicer does or a high-speed grinding and pressing style juicer would. Yeah, it's gonna try your patience. I mean, literally, I was putting in by the time I got to the bottom of the stalk, which is like more thick, you know, by the core here, you know, I'd put in like one of these thick pieces that I slice pretty doggone thin, and I'd actually count to 1001, 1002, 1003, and then put the next one in, and then cross my fingers and hope it didn't jam and stop, because it was really jamming a lot. The other thing I will say is that this is actually quite warm, so as it is quite warm, you know, probably the power of the motor kind of goes down as it's kind of getting overheated, and so maybe they should have some kind of cooling fan in there, but then that would make it bigger, add costs, whatnot. And I understand they want to keep the price point at this unit at a super low cost. That being said, you know, in my opinion, it'd be far better to engineer and design this right properly with the proper size motor that's more powerful, the proper size battery pack, the proper metal to metal gearing, the proper gearing inside so that if it does overload, you're not going to snap the gear like I did previously, to have it more compact and nesting when you travel with, to have a micro USB controller, to have a larger feed chute. See, the problem is if you increase the feed chute size, you're going to increase the motor torque size, and you have to increase the battery size. And, you know, I'm not an engineer, but it's not rocket science to figure all this stuff out, guys. And if you guys are a manufacturer from China, you know, hey, I'm willing to work with you to give you guys guidance to make the best machine that I'm glad to promote. And even if it's good enough, which I've never done before in my life, put my name on it, because I honestly believe that, you know, juicers like this that are portable, that are battery operated, that literally you could probably take to the moon or wherever you want to juice, so that people can juice on the go, is something really needed in this day and age, especially in the time of the medical medium. So I mean, you got to make sure this juices celery with minimal hassle for the customers, because that's what people really want to juice in this day and age. And I think you'd really have a blockbuster. You'd sell a lot of units. And also, you know, good duty cycle time, you know, minimum 10 minutes. I'd like to say 15 minutes, but then you get into bigger battery pack also. And I know, you know, part of this is that this is 2 pounds, and it's amazing what they've done in 2 pounds. But I encourage you guys to go further. I mean, it's amazing what they've done in an iPhone, and just look at the original iPhones to iPhones today. So much better. So I'm glad that Calmdo has come out with this as the first prototype model. Not ready for the real market, in my opinion, but I hope other companies follow suit and make this significantly better in the future, because this is going to open up a whole new category of sales channel, and more importantly for me, allow you guys that are watching to juice more fruits and vegetables, especially the leafy green vegetables and the vegetables that are literally lacking in Americans and people's around the world's lives, so that people can be healthier, right? So that's my final outcome on this. If you guys enjoy this episode, want me to continue to make videos about random juicers I buy and test and use myself, because I just think it's a cool idea and I want it to be better, give this video a thumbs up. Also, be sure to share this video with somebody else that may be looking for a portable, USB chargeable, you know, battery operated juicer. You could literally juice, you know, fruits, recommended, but not vegetables, anywhere on the entire planet. Oh, and man, before I go, I gotta try these things. I mean, man, I gotta say, that's a solid orange juice. I'd much rather drink this orange juice that's rich and full-bodied, that's kind of like thick and frothy, compared to like one that's just wrung out, or you literally squeeze out the water. That would be more clear. So there's a lot more nutrition in there for sure. Next, I'm going to taste the straight celery. You know, I've had a lot of straight celery juice. Wow. I mean, I gotta say, it did do a good job. I'm not tasting like any kind of like fiber in the pulp, because it basically comes out the bottom. But I will say also that the pulp was extremely wet, in my estimation, compared to other juicers out there. If you guys want to find out when I post new videos, make sure you click the subscribe button right down below so you get notified of my new and upcoming episodes that come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what new juicer I'll be testing for you guys, or comparing and contrasting, so you guys can get the right juicer and have all the information you need to be an empowered customer. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. If you guys are looking to buy a juicer, hey, please visit my website at discountjuicers.com and make your purchase at discountjuicers.com. And know if you make a juicer purchase at discountjuicers.com, you're supporting me so I can continue to make these educational videos. But also, you're going to be buying a product that I've personally tested myself, that I've vetted to make sure it meets my minimum standards to sell it. I mean, there's a lots of junk out there that's appearing on different websites, and these are fly-by-night companies that may come and go and may not be there to last. And I'm here to provide you guys good, solid juicers so you guys can make the changes in your lives that you guys are needing for the long run. Not just like a throwaway juicer, like, in my opinion, This is, because when this breaks, probably just got to chuck it. I don't even know if you could replace the batteries in here if this thing even comes apart. But yeah, so I want you guys to get to a good, durable unit, the get-go the first time. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. Our past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 500 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to comparing and contrasting and sharing with you guys all the different major brand juicers on the market so you guys could buy the right one for you. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.